The Galactic Council had dismissed humanity as irrelevant for centuries. Too aggressive, too unpredictable, too short-lived to matter in the grand scheme of interstellar politics. Elder species like the crystalline Terrians and the gaseous Vel had relegated humans to the fringes of galactic society, barely tolerated as traitors in the outer systems. Commander Trell of the Meridian Fleet stared at the emergency transmission. His 6 eyes blinked in sequence, a nervous tic he'd never managed to overcome despite his 200 cycles of military service. "Repeat that," he ordered. The communications officer, a young Meridian named Orin, trembled visibly. "The swarm has breached the Helios barrier. They've already consumed 3 Terrian worlds. The Council is in full retreat." Trell's exoskeleton tightened around his torso. The swarm, a hive-minded species of silicon-based organisms that didn't negotiate, didn't communicate, and didn't stop until they had consumed all organic matter on a planet. The Galactic Council had encountered them only once before, 5,000 years ago, and it had taken the combined might of 37 species to drive them back into the void between galaxies. "What of the defense fleet?" Trell asked, already knowing the answer. "Destroyed, Commander. The swarm has adapted to our shield frequencies and weapon signatures. They're learning faster than we can adapt." Trell moved to the navigation console, bringing up a map of nearby systems. The Meridian homeworld was directly in the swarm's path. They had perhaps 2 weeks before the first wave arrived. "Send evacuation orders to all civilian outposts," he commanded, "and open a channel to the human embassy on Meridian Prime." The bridge fell silent. Orin's appendages froze over his console. "Sir? The humans? But the Council protocols specifically forbid." "The Council is running," Trell snapped, "and humans are the only species in this sector with combat experience against adaptive adversaries." 10 minutes later, the human ambassador's face appeared on the main view screen. Ambassador Tom was unremarkable by human standards. Light brown skin, dark hair flecked with gray, and those strangely expressive facial features that Meridians found so disquieting. "Commander Trell," Tom said formally, "this is unexpected." Trell explained the situation without preamble. When he finished, the human was silent for 17 seconds. Trell counted. "You're asking for our help," Tom said finally. "After a century of restrictive trade policies and diplomatic isolation?" "Yes," Trell admitted, "we are." Tom leaned forward. "I'll need to consult with Earth Command, but I can tell you this. Humans don't abandon allies, even reluctant ones. Stand by." 3 days later, 5 human battlecruisers arrived in the Meridian system. They were ugly, utilitarian vessels that lacked the elegant design of Council ships. But Trell had studied enough human history to know that what they lacked in beauty, they made up for in effectiveness. The human fleet commander, Admiral Jack, was tall and weathered, with a scar running from his temple to his jaw. He didn't waste time with pleasantries. "We've reviewed your swarm data," he said during their first meeting, "and we've seen this pattern before in our own history." Jack brought up a holographic display showing Earth's oceans. "We had microscopic organisms called viruses. Some would evolve to counter our medical defenses, much like the swarm adapts to your weapons. The key isn't to hit them harder, it's to hit them differently. Continuously, unpredictably." Trell's scientific officer, Lynn, chittered skeptically. "We've tried varying our attack patterns." "Not enough," Jack interrupted. "Your species thinks in patterns, hierarchies. Subdue the Terrians and the Vel. It's how your neural pathways evolved. Humans don't. We're chaos incarnate." Jack smiled, showing teeth, a gesture Meridians still found primitive. "And we've brought some chaos with us." The human strategy was madness. While the Meridian fleet maintained a defensive position around their homeworld, the human ships scattered, engaging the first wave of the swarm with constantly changing tactics. Sometimes they attacked directly, sometimes they retreated, sometimes they used their weapons at minimal power, and sometimes at full strength. "They're not trying to win," Lynn observed as they watched the battle unfold from Meridian Command. "They're trying to confuse." Trell nodded slowly. "They're teaching the swarm to expect unpredictability, making adaptation itself a liability." For 2 weeks, the humans harried the swarm, losing 2 ships in the process. The swarm's advance slowed as their adaptation mechanisms became overloaded with contradictory data. Then, at Jack's signal, the Meridian fleet joined the assault with precisely calibrated weapon frequencies. The swarm, which had been adapting to human chaos, couldn't switch quickly enough to counter the Meridian's orderly attack patterns. Their formations fractured. Now, Jack transmitted from his flagship, which was trailing plasma from multiple hull breaches, hit them with everything. The combined human Meridian fleet unleashed a synchronized barrage. The swarm vessels, caught in adaptation limbo, couldn't respond effectively. Within hours, they were in full retreat. In the aftermath, Trell found Admiral Jack in the observation deck of Meridian Command, looking out at the stars. "Your people fought well," Jack said without turning. "We wouldn't have survived without yours," Trell admitted. "The Council was wrong about humanity." Jack smiled faintly. "We're used to being underestimated, but we've learned something in our short history that your longer-lived species haven't. There's strength in diversity and unpredictability, in embracing chaos as well as order." He turned to face Trell. "We'll stand with you when the swarm returns, and they will return." "The Council may not approve," Trell cautioned. "Then the Council will have to adapt," Jack replied, "or they'll find that humans aren't the only ones who can be unpredictable." As Jack left, Trell remained watching the stars. For the first time in centuries, the Meridian commander felt hope. In their darkest hour, it wasn't the ancient wisdom of the Terrians or the technological superiority of the Vel that had saved them. It was the chaotic, unpredictable, gloriously contradictory humans, the species the galaxy had dismissed as irrelevant. Perhaps, Trell thought, it was time for the galaxy to evolve.